Hello, my loves. Welcome to the water element of the 78 Deep Challenge. If you're coming on this video and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will leave the playlist linked for you. But the short and dirty of it is I am hosting a tarot challenge and course called 78 Deep, where we are moving through all 78 tarot cards one by one, grouped in elements. So today marks the day that we are starting the water element. Even if you're finding this in the future or you've been watching along and you haven't yet jumped in, you are welcome to join us at any time. You can start from the beginning. You can start at the card we are on now. That's totally up to you. You'll find a link to, again, like I said, the playlist down below, as well as the page where you can learn more about what this is, why I created it, how to join the free version, and how to join in on the course if you'd like to do that. So, with that out of the way, let's get into today's video. So, as I said, today we are starting off with the element of water, which includes the cups and a selection of major arcana cards that are, again, associated with the element of water. So I want to talk a little bit about water. I want to walk us through the order of the cards just to kind of get a handle on the journey. And I want to talk about the card that we're starting this journey with, which is the Five of Cups, because it can be a pretty difficult card to start an element with, but after I've sat with it, I think it's really appropriate and aligned for where we're going and really paints a picture for where we can dive a little deeper and really integrate the lessons of the cup cards or the water cards into our current life in a really intentional and expansive way. So before I get into that, I know you're all dying to know how the challenge has been going for me, right? So let's do a little update first. The challenge has been good. As I'm filming this is the day before I'm actually leaving to go out of town for a week. So this has been a little bit of an odd thing to do in the middle of this challenge / course, especially since I'm doing daily posts for my deep divers within the course. So I've been actually really diving into the cards in advance and getting to see a big picture of which cards are on which days and how that lines up with, you know, the moon cycles or major holidays or just things I have going on in my own personal life. And it's also been really amazing to see how some of the cards really spoke to a large number of us on certain days. The Empress was a huge card within the Earth suit for a lot of people, and just again, like I said, in the course we have this chat, and it's just been such a beautiful journey to see those of you in there really embrace the depth of this challenge and share really what these cards are bringing forward for you, how they're calling you out, how they're pushing you forward, how they're calling you up. And there's already been some really deep work that has happened. And I just want to say, even if you're not in the course but you've been doing this on your own, and you've been having these types of experiences where you're actually like going there and digging deep, I want to say I'm so friggin' proud of you. Like, seriously, like, this is real work. And it takes a level of dedication to the self to be able to engage with this work and to stick with it, right? I mean, 78 days is quite a long period of time, and at this point, you know, we're almost at the end of the first month, including prep week, and it's a commitment. It takes commitment to you, and it takes personal bravery to dig into your own depths. And while not every card may result in some type of, you know, huge epiphany aha, the cards that really speak to you are meant to speak to you. And for me, there's no greater tool than that of self-reflection. And my practice of self-reflection has deepened tenfold since using the tarot. So to be able to facilitate this challenge, to host this course, to create this safe space and the structure for you to be able to experience this for yourself as well, it's just, it fills me with such joy, and it almost makes me like heave a sigh of relief, because I'm just like so happy that my intention for the course is actually like happening for you. So with all that being said, that's how that's been going for me. I've definitely found that, you know, on days where I'm diving into the card for the day, it absolutely does like correlate with what I'm working through. And it's really mind-blowing to me that I can take a deck, right, of 78 pieces of paper. I can shuffle them months in advance into some specific order, right, that I have set out. So if you don't know how I did this, I divided the deck into the 4 elements, and I shuffled each of the 4 elements, and however that shuffle ended is the order that we're going through them in. And for that order to be significant, not only for me, but for a large number of you as well, has just been like, like, you know, that emoji with like the heads exploding. That's how I feel about that. So definitely sense that for myself. Some cards are just fun. It's been really fun to share my knowledge about the card, and then other cards have been really confronting, and I've been like, whoa, I got some deep stuff, deep stuff to dive in with. So I am diving in right along with you, and I'm continuing to post weekly over on Instagram. So if you're like, hey, you went a little quiet after that first element video, I actually posted a video on the Empress card, so you can check that out. And I've been posting weekly on Instagram with my favorite card reflections as well. Let's see, what else do I need to catch you up on? I have been documenting the cards, working on this project. I have not really gone to the full extent with every card. Let me get this in the frame for you. So this is my tarot journal. I went through this whole thing within the course. There's a video about that, but so if you're in there watching that in here, you'll notice some of the changes. But there were some cards where I really just like got in my journal first and like went there, and then there were other cards where I did the daily post for the course in advance, and then just kind of lived with the card in quiet reflection throughout the day. And I've just been working with whatever deck I feel called to. Sometimes I just work with whatever card happens to be on like the page of the journal. I created this journal years ago, and I'm just now like getting to finish it. So I've been working, you know, just with the images on the page, and sometimes I will pull from whatever deck is calling to me and look at that card. So that's been really fun. I've also been using these 2 resource books, which I've been enjoying. The Magic of Tarot, I believe I mentioned this in my original video, and I've also been looking at the Book of Thoth and just seeing what Crowley has to say about the particular card. I'm not someone who has really studied Thoth in depth, but I'm trying to like slowly layer some Thoth meanings into my own personal knowledge of the card, bit by bit. So I've been doing that. That's pretty much it, my loves. If you're curious what deck I'm taking on my trip with me, as I will be in the middle of it when you're seeing this, I am taking the Witch's Tarot with me, which is probably not very appropriate for the place I'm going, but I'm doing it anyway because that's what I want to do. I debated on also taking this one. I haven't actually left yet, so who knows, but this is the Ask the Witch Tarot. So I might take both, and I might just take one. We'll see how much room I have left in my backpack, because this box is pretty big. But that is the plan. So let's talk about water, right? 10 minutes in, Leanne. Let's talk about water. So water, let me pull out our little graphic here. Water rules emotions, right? Water is emotion. Water is intuition. Water is flowing and moving. And when we think of water in terms of the tarot, we think of the cup suit. And the cup suit is associated with, again, emotions, intuition, and it's also associated with relationships and matters of the heart. So anything that's really just soft and squishy, basically, is associated with the water. And as we move through the suit, the Five of Cups came forward as kind of our guide. I'm treating each starting card of the element as the guide. And Five of Cups as a guide is really interesting because the Five of Cups teaches us about loss and grief. And what I've come to learn over the course of working with this Five of Cups and sitting with these cards in preparation for this video is that the Five of Cups really invites us into a space of grief and loss through honoring. It's like an honoring of those emotions. And I could get into, our societal way of dealing with that, but that's not really relevant to this conversation because we want to just bring it into where we want to go, right? And where we want to go as we move through the cups, if you accept the invitation, is to really allow yourself to feel the emotions that come up with each card. This is going to be a very profoundly moving element to go through. It's going to be confronting. It's going to feel messy. It's going to feel like it asks a lot of you, while also really feeling like it's nurturing you and giving you confirmation and just this beautiful flow of acceptance and love. As you move through this journey, I invite you to honor whatever's there. Whatever comes up for you each day, honor what's there. But the Five of Cups also comes with a gut check, if you will, where it asks us to first honor, right? Surrender to the depths of the emotion, responsibly, of course. I'm not saying you should put yourself in harm's way at all, but in an emotionally regulated, responsible, supportive environment, allow yourself to feel the feelings, but don't get stuck there. It actually is not on this depiction, but traditionally with the RWS depiction, there is some of the cups that have not been knocked over. Like some of them are still standing upright to the back of the person. And this is meant to indicate that while there has been a loss, not all is lost. I'm going to say that again. While there has been a loss, and we need to take the time to honor that loss, we also are asked to recognize that not all is lost. And when we stay too long in the loss aspect, right? When we're done with the honoring and we're just stuck and festering and just treading water and going around and around with this feeling, we can get really stuck because it's the only thing we're focused on. And if we find ourselves in that place, the Five of Cups invites us to turn around, to look at all that we still have, and to not forget, but to forgive, to surrender to the flow of life, and to move the fuck on. So, let's talk about the order real quick. Again, this is the Ask a Witch Tarot. I'm just going to be using to demonstrate the order here. And I'm hoping these are in focus. So we talked about the Five of Cups. Right after the Five of Cups, we have the Ten of Cups, which is so funny because this is the card of bliss. It's the card of being in the present moment and surrendering to the enjoyment of the fulfillment of just being here now and not worrying about the past or the future, but just delighting in the present, savoring the one life we have to live, right? It's kind of the other side of the coin of the Five of Cups. So that will be really fun to explore together. We have the Page of Cups, Ever Curious. We have the Chariot, which is such a beautiful major arcana card because the Chariot is a movement point. It's a point where you accept the reins, if you will, of your life. You begin to develop confidence. You've done some self-development work, and now you're sitting in the driver's seat and you're like, I'm going to ride this where I want to go. And as it deals with water, right, there's a lot of emotions, right? So we're talking about self-confidence, we're talking about forward momentum, we're talking about flow, but there's also all of these people at the heels of her, right? And they're like grasping at her because the Chariot asks us to move away from anything that is no longer serving us. And sometimes that can be really confronting, right? So that'll be interesting to explore. We have Three Cups, Celebration with Others, which ironically is on the observance of Easter this year, which is funny. Choices with the Seven of Cups, Four of Cups, the Hanged Man, changing of perspective, followed by Death, which one of my favorite cards ever, so I'll save my spiel for whenever I talk about that card. The Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, Eight of Cups, walking away. The Moon. I love this Moon card because this is Hecate. The Knight of Cups, who's like the romantic of the deck. The King of Cups. Nine of Cups. Queen. High Priestess. We all love that card, right? And then we end with the Six of Cups, which is significant and interesting as we move into the air suit, but we'll leave that to talk about when we get there. So let's talk about some dates. If you're following along in real time, let's talk about the dates. Let me get my calendar here. So as we are talking, I've made notes on mine, so ignore all of that. But today would be the 27th of March. And then we move through until April 14th. So April 14th is the final card, the Six of Cups. And now that I know that April 15th is the start of air, knowing the card that we're starting with, it makes it even more funny. So I can't wait to talk about that. As you know, the tax filing season. Anyway, we won't talk about that. That is a cup suit, my loves. And I can't wait to see where we go together. If you are in the course, please don't forget to scroll down to the bottom of today's post, which you're watching this video in. And there is a bonus printable for you down there for your journals. So don't forget about that. If you're watching this with me for free on YouTube, again, you can go ahead and join us for free if you haven't signed up yet to get like the emails and things. The link is there for you, and you can join us in the course at any time. That's totally up to you. But all that being said, my loves, bon voyage. Let's get watery. Let's honor our feelings and just really embrace the depths. I feel like Earth, as the first element, really grounded us here in the world and really grounded us into the spirit of the challenge. And it was kind of like a warm up for just really like friggin' going there with the water suit. So let's go there, my loves. Let's make some fucking magic. If you have any questions or comments or want to share how you're moving through this journey, I would love to hear in the comments below. I will definitely be checking that, so go ahead and drop in there. And with all that being said, my loves, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.